Hey friends, welcome back to Magus of the Frog. Exciting day today because I am ready for revenge. Revenge against what? Revenge against whom? Revenge against the red decks, that is. So I looked at our deck stats and win rates against red based aggro, and we are at 44%, 31% if we are on the draw. Now, while not entirely terrible and unplayable, it is something we need to adapt to since red based aggro is a considerable share of the metagame. Now, depending on the website you get your info at, it's 24 to 28% of the decks across all variants of Boros Burn, Auras, Mono Red, and Gruul. So, I enlisted some help from a friend of mine in my local playgroup who is set on taking one of the aggro variants to the RCQ season. And even if we will most likely end up as competitors in the field, come on, guys, Magic is way more fun when you're working together and collaboratively. So I've been helping him test against Golgari, Demir, Domain, Control decks, etc. And yesterday we met up at the local game store and he ran me through the red gauntlet. We brainstormed tactics, strategies, card technologies to improve the Merfolk's game plan in dealing with red. And this is where we ended up. I'm very happy with this list after all that playtesting. It turns out that Flood Pit's Drowner is the most consistent MVP against red since it impacts the board right away and shuts off 2 attacks from a target because of its stun counters. So why not utilize a similar effect with Lodestone Needle? 3 copies of, and while it isn't a merfolk that can attack, it does have flash and offers 2 stun counters, effectively turning off an attacker for 3 turns. We of course have Unsummon in the main board, either to bounce their attacker, or if we have 3 mana, bounce our Drowner, and then recast it to continue the stun tempo. Additionally, we are moving Vivian Reed to the sideboard in favor of 2 Paw Patch formation in the main board. They both have a similar effect in that it deals with a flyer and an enchantment, but Paw Patch has the advantage of being cheaper and sometimes offering a food token which can be useful in adding some life padding against aggressive decks. Now don't worry guys, Vivian Reed is still going to come back during games against mid-range and control matchups. She is just too good. Just not always the best game 1 card in a ranked ladder full of aggressive decks. We are also changed the equation to 4 copies since I am now convinced it is just one of the best counter spells available, able to counter any card from the red decks, and can still remain relevant in other matchups like the Temur Floodcaller deck or even the Jeskai Convoke deck given how low their curve is. Even in something like the Golgari matchup, it can take care of a lot of their plays because it can take care of their removal. The only thing it doesn't really do well at dealing with is the Annex and the Schism, the Preacher. But those we can deal with in other ways. Now, here is where it gets spicy. We are running 2 copies of Jace, the Perfected Mind in our sideboard. Probably not something you'd expect in a mid-range deck, but the first ability has been so good during our playtesting against red. You can cast him for 3 mana and 2 life to come in at 3 loyalty instead of 5, and immediately +1 to save 3 damage from an attacker. So a very subtle life gain that's not very obvious, that keeps paying off if Jace stays on the board. And oftentimes, Jace stays on the board a lot. He immediately goes up to 4 loyalty, which would mean our opponent would need Boros Charm or a Kick Burst Lightning to deal with Jace immediately. And it also acts as a, how would I put this, a major decision fork for the red deck. Do they attack you and let Jace keep upticking, or do they attack Jace but lose opportunities to attack your life total? And in combination with us putting in stun counters, unsummon, and of course eventually developing our own board, we now have a strong game plan and strategy against the red decks. So let's get back on this mythic rank climb. We're still at plat 4 with our newfound tools and see if all this play testing has paid off. I think it will, so I'm really hoping we run into some red-based aggro decks on the ladder. And before we get into round 1, I just have to say a huge thank you to everyone who's been tuning in so far, engaging with the videos, supporting me this early in this YouTube project. I have been having a blast getting back into Magic. I've been playing so much, and hope I am inspiring more people to pick up off-meta decks and carving your own path in the metagame. Standard has been a deck builder's paradise, and we haven't even touched Pioneer and Timeless yet. That's coming later, possibly next week. So give us a like, a comment, a subscription would be heavenly, and I will see you round 1. Let's get it. Okay, round 1 here, guys. This looks like a keepable hand. We'll start off with the Vine Stalk and then see where we go from there. We'll see what our opponent is playing. Golgari. Okay, given that we drew a forest here, we're actually going to start with the Scout. And another Scout is not exactly what we're trying to do against Golgari. We're trying to get into our Planeswalkers here. Next turn, depending on what they do, we can put down a Pilgrimage here. Okay. So I think we will just go with the Pilgrimage here and start pumping out some dorks. They'll trade here, but the fact that we're just getting Pilgrimage online is just going to be good. And then we'll tap down, we'll play our tap land and then keep up a bunch of other stuff here. Okay, here comes an Unholy Annex. So we'll play this, and then I think we're gonna save the Hexcatcher here. Even if I can play it now and get in for an additional damage, I'd like to see what they're gonna do first. I'd prefer if they tap out and we play the Hexcatcher safely here. Okay, this tells me they have a removal spell, which I am totally okay playing a Hexcatcher into. Yep, and a Go for the Throat is fine here. We can make them pay one more, but this is fine. We just want to get rid of the removal that's in their hand. What really matters here is keeping up the Tidebinder for when if they activate the Ritual Chamber here. Okay, here's a Scoos. Okay, a Scoos here means I'm actually gonna go for the Drowner here. Or should I just do the Tishana's Tidebinder anyway? I kind of want to save this for the Ritual Chamber, so let's do Drowner. Okay, so it looks like they are tapping out. Maybe they don't have a removal spell here. And perfect. So I really needed to untap land there so that we can do Drowner this away, plus keep up Tidebinder. So let's attack first. Now we're gonna get a Dork here. And then we'll see what they do. They are at 11. They've been taking damage from the Unholy Annex, so Let's see if they create a demon here or they play something like an Archfiend. An Archfiend would be scarier. Aha, here we go. We were prepared for this. Here comes a Tishana's Tidebinder. They are tapped out. That means we get to go in with our kitty cat. I would like to draw 3 cards, please. And yeah, that's just a really good tempo game plan against Golgari there. Okay, so against Golgari, the way we're going to play this is we're actually going to take out our unsummons. And then we're going to bring in Vivian Reed, of course. And I'm thinking we also bring in our enchantment removal. Like Pick Your Poison will be really good here because they are playing the demons. I imagine they've got Archfiend as well. Let's see, what else? I'm actually thinking that we take out the Lodestone Needles here, bring in the Frillbacks, and then I'm also wondering whether or not we bring in Jace the Perfected Mind here. I think there's something to be said about using the -3 to deal with something like a Glissa. That kind of invalidates their Glissa's First Strike Death Touch. So I'm going to go 1-2 on the Scout here, try out a Jace the Perfected Mind, and make room for one more. No, let's try it out. Let's try it. I'm not sure how good Jace will be, but it seems like it's going to be a good thing against the Golgari deck here. Okay, game 2. I don't know about this hand. If they have removal, and if they have Annex, I think this is a mulligan, actually. Okay, this I like better. This I like better. And then we'll take one of the Hexcatcher out, because I like having Hexcatcher on the draw against Golgari, so if they turn 2, turn 3 Annex, I mean, then we can Hexcatch them. Okay, looks like they're going for the more board presence here. Create a food token. We're not really an aggro deck, so I don't know if this is a main board or a sideboard card from them. Either way, we're playing the Hexcatcher here. Gotta use that mana efficiently. Likely gonna eat a removal spell, but that means we get to cast Jace the Perfected Mind here. No problem on that. Let's play the Soulstone Sanctuary, and then this on curve, plus get your Mentor. This is a good time for them to play something like Annex here. Okay, maybe not a traditional Golgari list, given that they're playing Analyze the Pollen here. Ah, and a Maelstrom Pulse, okay. Okay, no problem at all. We'll start off with a Scout. A Throwback. I don't think I want a Throwback here. We've got Tishana's Tidebinders, which are, I think, way more valuable than Throwback. And then we're trying to get into a Curiosity turn. So let's try and see if we can set that up. No problem. Happy to take 3 here. And then we'll just play this out. We have a second one, and we're here to try and get rid of the removal. And then we'll just keep at it. Here comes the Dread Knight. I don't think we can really do anything about that. If they play it, that's okay with me. And I think they're holding up another removal spell here. Okay, we'll play this, and then we'll pass. Okay, they'll likely play a Mosswood Dread Knight here. We gotta start protecting our life total, so... Do we go with the more mana-efficient play? And block? We take 3? You know what? Let's be a bit risky and take 3 here. And then we'll go with the more expensive play here. This does survive a cut down, but it doesn't survive stuff like go for the throat. Okay. They did not deal with the curiosity here. Should we attack first and then do Oko? I think we have to attack. Okay, this on Merfolk. We'll play Oko. Create an elk. So they can use a removal spell on the elk here. Okay, so it's Anoint with Affliction, which is why I couldn't get Curiosity. We'll take 3 here. Oh, our opponent missed it. They could have gotten us with Restless Cottage. Okay. We'll take it. Oh, and a great draw there. We're actually just gonna do this right now. Oh, baby. Oh, another Drowner. Okay, we are gonna be eating well here. If they animate Cottage, okay, it looks like they're just going for it, so they're not going for the Cottage, really. I mean, they still can. But we got Drowners. Okay, couple of things we can do here. We can attack with everything. They'll block here, block here. I can also animate Sanctuary. Threaten lethal. And then if they block it, we play Tidebinder. Alright, well, we gotta get in. They have a food token up, so they're at effectively 13. So it's not quite lethal. Okay, so I can use Flood Pit's Drowner here to shuffle away the Mentor. We'll trade here. We'll have how many blockers left? I guess we have to play this. Okay. All right. They finally saw it. We were kind of hoping that they wouldn't see it. Okay, this is no problem. We'll just block here, block here. Okay, I think this is going to be us going into game 2 here. I mean game 3 here. We were in borrowed time anyway. They missed lethal, so we were trying to just play around what we had. I think Jace kind of impressed me there, so we're gonna bring that in. And it looks like they're going for the more ground game plan here. Lots of removal and a ground game. So we're actually gonna remove Pick Your Poisons. Paw Patch Formation, still possibly useful. I don't know if they took out their demon package here. But we want our scouts, and the change the equations actually something that I think will be useful here. So let's see, what do we cut? We have to cut a lot of cards here. I think Frillback maybe not the best here. And then I think I just want to play this ground game with them. I think we have better tools if we bring in the stuff like the Lodestone needles. Okay, so a bit risky here by going down and not going for their enchantments. So maybe just 3 change the equation, and I'm really wondering if Jace will be worth it, but we are in the play, so I think it will be. Okay, we'll go down 1 curiosity. And we're going to play a bit more tempo ground game here. They have a non-traditional configuration of Golgari, so I'm happy to play this game. Okay, we'll keep this. We'll start off with a Schooner and then back it up with a Hex Catcher. So we got our Schooner down. Do they develop the board or keep up removal? Okay, they're going to develop their board. And I think that means we are going to go with the Hex Catcher. And then you want to be in the habit of saving your land drop until after you've explored. Because if this was like a Restless Vine stock, then that would have been a great time to play it. Next turn, we get Oko, backed up by Hex Catcher. Okay, so given that, we can either Scout plus keep up Tidebinder, or we just go in with Oko. If we go in with Oko, we'll be creating an Elk, and Oko will die on the swing back, unless we keep everything back. Okay, okay. I think we're gonna keep everything back here.
guess what happens next?
Let's see what they have here. Looks like they're gonna use a cut down. And then we'll use that as an opportunity to animate our schooner here. If they have another removal spell, they can take care of Oko, but it doesn't look like it. And I'm happy to trade a Elk token for this. Okay, Hexcatcher was great here, so we're gonna create a Elk here. And we're still gonna keep back the schooner. And we can keep up Hexcatcher and Tidebinder. Yeah, let's do that. We can also do Scout plus Schooner, and then keep up Hexcatcher. I think that's actually better. Yeah. Just more bodies on the ground. Schooner, and then have Hexcatcher up. You'd be a 3/3, but we're not really gonna attack with it. So the onus is on the opponent to try and deal with Oko here. Here comes an Unholy Annex. Do we... Well, we can't counter it, really. So we'll let it go. Oh, okay. Well, if you're gonna fight, they're gonna trade. And then we're gonna use this as an opportunity to also crew. Ah, here comes a Glissa. Okay, so let's see what we draw here. A land. I think we're gonna plus Oko. Very nice. We'll put away the tap land. And then we're going against the Glissa, so we gotta be mindful of that. I think we start pressuring their life total here. I kind of want to keep this forest, though. So I'm actually gonna put away the Hexcatcher here. And this might seem like a strange play, but before they put Glissa down, I want to put huge pressure on their life total, so they have to make a decision of, do they create a demon, or they play Glissa, but they'll still be taking 2 damage. And what I'm gonna do here is gonna crew here. I'm gonna Vine Stalk. Become an Elk. Does this work? I actually haven't tried this yet. Okay, so it just becomes a 3/4. And then I can use that to become a 3/4 here. Okay. I didn't know if that would work or not. This becomes a 3/3. It doesn't really matter. And would you like to take 11? If they take 11, they'll be able to take care of our Oko, but they'll be taking damage here. And now I don't think they're in a good position. I guess their best place to make a demon here. But if they do, we're coming in hot with a lot of attackers. Okay, here comes Glissa. Then they play a 2-drop. Oh, they're keeping up removal spell here. So I think we Oko create an elk. Crew. Vinestalk. Okay. Create an elk. Crew here. Crew here. Vinestalk. And then we're going to use Oko to become a Hex Catcher. Just to have another Lord effect here. And then that is fine. Okay, if we let them kill this, we're still going to be coming in with a lot of damage here. But no, no. We gotta kill this. Okay. So maybe attacking with the... I mean, trying to copy the Hex Catcher there wasn't the best thing, but either way, they're dead here. Okay, and that's how to pressure the Golgari player. Just attack them on multiple fronts. Resolving a Planeswalker there just was kind of what we needed to do. And learned a little bit about using Oko to either copy the Schooner. I know that if you copy the banned land like Restless Vinestalk, that won't work. Oko will just become a land, but I wasn't sure if Oko would become the Schooner as a 3/4. But looks like it didn't, and we learned something new. And I think the correct play during that last turn was to not use Oko on the Hex Catcher, because they were obviously keeping up a removal spell, so we were most likely going to sack the Hex Catcher anyway. We should have just copied the elk. Okay, anyway, let's go to round 2. Okay, round 2 here. We are on the play. This looks keepable. This is great if they have a red aggro deck here, so that's what we're here to play test again. So we'll start off with a scout. Black, red. Okay, this could mean a lot of things. Reach the multiverse! Oh no! I'm very familiar with this card just because I also play EDH and Commander, and this is a sweet card. Okay. That surprised me. We'll make some dorks here. Our opponent is cooking! Okay. Likely have a removal spell since they are Rakdos colors. Yep, here comes Cut Down. They're playing it main phase just in case they think we have counter spells. Okay, let's play the land they know about. We are playing Merfolks. So we're gonna name Merfolks and pass here. And unfortunately, I don't think our hand's very good against a Breach the Multiverse deck. We can play this, possibly, just to have it out, but I'd like to see more of their deck first. If we get a second copy, we can craft with Artifact. Okay, we'll do Soulstone Sanctuary. Attack for 1 here. And pass the turn. Okay, exile the top 2. You may look at those for as long as they... Ah, okay. So if they play something from our deck here, we can unsummon it back to our hand. Interesting. Okay. We can use this on the Maze Mind Tome. Or we can activate our Soulstone Sanctuary. Okay, we'll do this instead. It's more mana efficient, and it's a Merfolk. Okay. Let's do Cavern of Souls here on Merfolk. We'll attack here. And then we're gonna tap this. And this to Lodestone Needle their Maze Mind Tome. So they got a Botanical Sanctum from us. We don't know what this one is. Oh, another Botanical Sanctum. Okay. So they can possibly just play the dragon here. Okay, they're gonna go for the throat. That makes sense, because otherwise we would be making just more dorks here. And we'll save the Drowner. So let's attack here. And play another Sanctuary. Let's see if they tap out for the dragon here. They do. Which means we are going with the Drowner. And then we can also unsummon this and Drowner it. But let me show you some cool tech that we're about to do here. Oh, even better. So Merfolk, let's play this. Let's attack. And then, holding control, what you can do is use Drowner on this, and then unsummon your Drowner, but it looks like I don't have enough blue sources, so whoops. We're gonna save this with an unsummon if they try and kill it. Let's save it. And then we'll play it again. Okay. So cool deck from our opponent there. Looks like they're trying to do some nasty stuff though. Like breach the multiverse. They probably have something like an Atali in their deck. Oh boy, I hope you don't get Atali. You know, I wouldn't mind getting Atali. That's pretty sweet. So, what's good against them? Do we go the Planeswalker route? Do we go the Ghost Vacuum route? I think we're definitely bringing in change the equation here. And I think Unsummon, although good in that last game, won't be as good in this game. Tidebinder looks good. Oko looks good. We can bring in the Vivian Reeds. And Lodestone Needle is okay. Yeah, it went against a Maze Mind Tome there, but we're okay with them using Maze Mind Tomes. Okay, let's try this and see how we do. Okay, we'll keep this. We got some counter spells and Hexcatcher and Curiosity. Vine Stalk. Maze Mind Tome. We'll play Botanical Sanctum here, pass the turn, keeping up Change the Equation and Hexcatcher. Looks like they kept something on top there. This will be a juicy card. And we're just going to play the Hexcatcher here, use our mana, likely going to eat the removal spell, but that is okay. Okay. And then we'll play the Sanctuary here so we can get it online earlier. And we can Tidebinder this. Then they're forced to remove it? Yeah. Might as well. And next turn, we have changed the equation plus Hexcatcher up, or playing the cat. Here comes a Sheoldred, very scary. We're gonna draw here. So I think our best bet against something like this is just to pass here, keeping up some spells. Had I known they had a Sheoldred, I would have saved Tishana's Tidebinder for it, but it is what it is. Okay, this can't be countered, so this is just gonna resolve here. And then I think we're gonna counter this. Oh, this is on Dragon, right? So we can't counter it? Okay. Never mind. Okay, so we're a bit under pressure here. I think we didn't really know what to play against, and now I think I have a better idea of what our opponent is playing. So we'll just play the Enduring Curiosity here. We're gonna draw, and then Sheoldred plus the dragon, they'll attack. We don't have good blocks. If we attack now, they can just let us draw. We go down to 10. Attack us for 8. Ooh, okay. Let's go to game 2 here. I think I know what to do better this time around. And Unsummon's actually what I'm gonna use here. Flyers. Change the equation is interesting here because we can use it against their removal spells, but if they're playing Lithomantic Barrage and Cavern of Souls, we're not gonna do that. We'll do our Planeswalkers. Is Unsummon good here? I'm actually not sure. It's the only way we can really deal with a shouldered right now. And then instead of the curiosity, do we do the frillback? No. I don't think so. Let's just go for a good mid-range game here. Let's go down on the scouts. And just one more. I'm thinking one pick your poison. Okay, so we're gonna have to play assuming that they have stuff like Shouldered, so is this good? I think this is okay. It sucks that our green source is something that damages us, but this can let us get ahead of removal spell. Alright, island here. Okay, Yavimaya Coast pass here. I think we are okay with the Maze Mind Tome here. One thing we can do is Hex Catcher it, but we already have Pick Your Poison. Okay, and then we have Unsummon to protect the Hex Catcher. Okay, sacrifice an artifact. Or do we even care about the Maze Mind Tome? Do we instead just keep up Unsummon plus Flood bits? You know, I don't think we care about the Maze Mind Tome. Let's use this on the dragon instead. I think keeping Unsummon here is good. We're gonna use it to save our creatures. Something like this. And then we'll replay it. Even if they've used another removal spell here, that is fine with me. And then we're gonna sack this so that this ends up in our graveyard. Not that it really matters, but better than having it exiled. Okay, so we'll play the Soulstone Sanctuary here, and then see if we can resolve an Enduring Curiosity. If they deal with this, we can just go to Sanctuary Town. Okay, if they have another removal spell, they're gonna use it on the Sanctuary here. Okay, we connect. And we got a Jace. So, our hand is telling us to play a tempo game plan here. Nothing we can do about this. But we do get to resolve a Jace the Perfected Mind here. Four cards in the graveyard. We're just gonna -2 here to draw a card. Oh, they did have an Atali, you naughty boy. You're doing some crazy stuff there. I respect it. I respect it a lot. Okay, Maze Mind Tome. Maybe we can mill them out, guys. Who knows? Okay, yes. Oko. Let's work on a board presence here. And then because they have Lithomantic Barrage, I'm just gonna make sure we get our draws out of this chase. Here comes the Torch the Tower. Oh, I'm surprised they didn't do that earlier. Okay, no problem. I guess they're not really too worried about chase, which makes sense. But hopefully our elk will start connecting here if they don't have removal spell. I don't think we can do anything about this. Okay, I'm gonna just play the Drowner here on an empty board. And that's just to make sure we get through with something to get a draw from the Curiosity here. Okay. Let's draw a card first, and then I'm kind of tempted to just destroy their Maze Mind Tome with our Pick Your Poison. If they play a flyer, we've got Drowners to deal with it anyway. Okay. Sacrifice an artifact. They scry, they put it on top. Ooh, that's scary. Let's play a Deeproot Pilgrimage. I mean, the good news here is in red-black, they can't really deal with enchantments. Alright. Discover 5. Oh, are you kidding me? They get a Shoulder out of that? Brother. Okay. I see you, opponent. We're going to do this. Put that there. And then do this. Put that on the Carnosaur, and then we're gonna shuffle these bad boys on our turn. We're gonna make sure we don't take any damage here. Oh, you know what? It's 2 damage. I think we're okay. We're going to... Oh, no. I'm so... Okay. I misplay that. We should have used Tishana's Tidebinder on that. Let's resolve... while that's on the stack, we'll shuffle away Shouldered. Okay. It's ended up working out. Probably just should have used Tishana's Sidebinder there. Oh, and another Drowner there. It might be over for our opponent here. Would have loved to get something like a Manland here. We'll do the same play. No problem. Yeah, no problem. We're happy to take all of this. And then, do I play another Tidebinder that puts 3 power in the board? Yeah, we do. I think we do. Oh, baby. Say no more. Say no more. Let's make sure we use this and this. Yeah, and that's just too much value. Okay. Hit Platinum 3. That's nice. On to the next one. Alright guys, so welcome back to round 3, and this is actually going to be a voiceover. I totally forgot I muted my mic after I took a break from the last game, and recorded this whole third round here with my mic muted. So we are playing against a black-red deck here, and we started off with a scout, and we had just played a black-red deck, the breach deck, before this one. So I was surprised to see the duress there, and I was thinking, oh, maybe this is the same deck, and it's probably getting more popular. We attack here after playing a pilgrimage, and I noticed that they didn't have a removal spell here, so I was quite surprised by that. And once they played Tiny Bones Burglar, I was either thinking, oh, okay, they're doing duress, they're doing Tiny Bones, this is a discard deck. Little did I know that, as you'll see later, this is a totally different deck than what I was thinking. So my game plan here was just to make more dorks. When they block the 1/1 here with Tiny Bones, I can save it by just playing Hex Catcher, getting for an additional damage here. And then this turn right here was when I was thinking, what deck would really play the discard spells a lot and try and utilize that. And I was thinking of a mono black deck that I was playing against in my Merfolk Tempo days. But then they played Brotherhood's End, and then I immediately knew, oh, they're doing Demonic Pact. Demonic Pact's a really cool control deck that does the harmless offering Demonic Pact combo and just plays like main board Brotherhood's End and Pyroclasm. So I was thinking to myself, okay, I gotta kill this opponent quick. It's a good thing that we have Hexcatcher here to deal with a lot of their non-creature spells. If they play something like a land plus a Brotherhood's End here, I'll have to sacrifice a lot of, valuable merfolks, but it will still be worth it. Here they go for the throat, and I was thinking to myself, do I sacrifice a token here? Because they can Pyroclasm right after this. But having 2 Hex Catchers was enough to let me just keep it. And when they played the Disturbing Mirth here, I almost reflexively countered it here, but really, they're incentivized to sack something here and draw 2 cards, but they'll be tapped out, and we had lethal on the board, so I really didn't need to counter it there. And against the red-black Demonic Pact combo, our current iteration of the Merfolk mid-range deck is not very good against them because a lot of our stuff will just die to Brotherhood's End and Pyroclasm. So we kind of have to lean into a more, rely on our planeswalkers and our bigger creatures kind of strategy. So I'm really hoping that our opponent here kind of just keeps in a lot of their board wipes, and then we kind of just have to play around it is the main strategy here. So you'll see me take out Lodestone Needle. We don't really need that. We don't really need Unsummon in the main deck. And then change the equation is to counter their red spells like Pyroclasm and Brotherhood's End, and as well as Harmless Offering. Okay, we're going into game 2 here. And this is a keepable hand. We got the Scout to start off with, and then we can start playing the Schooner into a Pilgrimage line, or the Pilgrimage line if they don't have a removal spell for our scout. We revealed Oko here from the Explorer. We don't really need it right now. We really just need more lands. Here comes a Bitter Reunion, and this is what the deck does. It really cycles through their deck quite fast to find their combo pieces and kill us with a trigger. Thankfully, we have a lot of destroy target enchantment type of effects to mitigate a lot of demonic pact lines of play. And then here you see that they have the Pyroclasm, and we're just going to instead keep up Shana's Tidebinder here. Just to use our mana more efficiently. Here comes a Pact. And I believe I played the Drowner here. And I'm trying to save the Tidebinder for a Pact trigger. But thankfully, we've got Frill back and the 4th land to make it so that we can kill the Demonic Pact outright and use our manage. Here comes a Beseech the Mirror, and this is what really, I think, makes the Black-Red Demonic Pact deck good, is that they have access to this Tutor spell. And you can see here that they used it to find a Brotherhood's End to wipe the board, and pretty much stabilize immediately. They can also use Beseech the Mirror there to get a Demonic Pact if they really wanted to. But I think they just wanted to get 5 power off the board. So here they play a Demonic Pact. Luckily, we had Paw Patch Formation on the hand. And this is kind of what really makes green good in this metagame, is that there's a lot of decks out there that rely on enchantments, and green just has the best enchantment removal. Paw Patch Formation, pick your poison, even Terra Sunder if you're able to splash into black or play Golgari. So we drew a Hexcatcher here, which is great because we can keep up our Tidebinder as well as get a token from Deeproot Pilgrimage when we drew our boat. They go for the Throat It, and we can't really do anything about it. We attack for 3 here, and we miss the Explore trigger since they killed our Hexcatcher. So we draw a Drowner here, and I'm thinking that, Drowner's not really good against this match here. They don't really have crazy creatures that they can really utilize to fight our board state here, so the Drowner's not very good. And then here I was thinking, okay, if Drowner's not very good, and they're trying to kill our Schooner and remove all of the copies from the deck, I'll just play the Drowner right now and get a token from our Deeproot Pilgrimage for our troubles. They will be aware of the Tishana's Tidebinder that we have in the hand, but I think that's still okay. Our opponent's searching through our deck here, and I hope they're at least enjoying playing against Merfolk. It is an off-meta deck, and it is based on what I've talked to about friends and whatnot. They really like the deck. Some of them have brought it to last week's FNM and played around with it, and just had a lot of fun playing both the mid-range version and the tempo version. I hope you guys are enjoying the Merfolk deck as well. So here they animate Restless Fence, and man, this card is good. Restless Vents, I'm starting to learn, is just a great addition to the Rakdos Demonic Pact deck here, because it allows them to get a lot of card selection. And I'm kind of kicking myself for not playing the Tishana's Tidebinder, countering the activated ability, and then double blocking here to get rid of the Restless Vents, because as you'll see throughout this game too, it really helps them. The Restless Vents really helps them get through their top decks here. So I play the Tidebinder here instead to get rid of the Mirth trigger here. I attack here, putting a lot of pressure into our opponents, and I'm just crossing my fingers that they don't have a board wipe here. But lo and behold, come on, they got 8 copies of a board wipe in their deck here, so what are we gonna do? They either have it or they don't. It was a gamble that we took, and here's where Restless Vents really just starts taking over the game. They get to discard the land that they had in hand, draw a new one. If we pop Patch Formation, the Mirth here, it's kind of just gonna be awkward because it's gonna manifest Dread, and then put 2 more power in the board. And then we are getting hit here by the Restless Vents. They're getting card selection. You know, we don't have good card selection at the top of our deck, while they're continuously looting every turn. And unfortunate for us, we draw a forest here. So not only are we up against a opponent who's able to draw more cards per turn, we are kind of flooding out. They're playing a Hopeless Nightmare here, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm going to be discarding whatever I have in hand anyway, so why not use the Paw Patch Formation to draw a card, and then possibly draw a flash creature that I can play, hopefully the cat. But, wah wah, we draw another forest. We are still at 12 here, so I'm not quite giving up. Seeing this Besiege the Mirror, though, was quite worrying, because I was thinking to myself, okay, now they go ahead and Demonic Pact us. But it turns out they had a better plan in play. They just bring out a Sheoldred, and that makes so much more sense given that they're drawing a card from an extra card from Restless Vents every turn anyway. So they're getting out of reach by playing Sheoldred here and drawing more cards. I did draw Frill back here, so that allows us to use all the modes here, given that we have quite a few lands. We can destroy their Hopeless Nightmare, we can exile their graveyard, and we can gain 4 life up to 17. I don't know if it's enough though. So yeah, here they are. I'm looking at their graveyard, kind of trying to see what they have played so far, but also just kind of resigning to myself that we're probably going to a game 3 here. So trying to just gather as much information as I can. I'll be taking 6 here, down to 11, and then an additional 2 after I draw this card. And drawing the Scout here, well, I was thinking to myself, at least I get to look at the top of my deck, see what we get. But there's nothing that we can really draw to really deal with the Sheoldred here. Tishana's Tidebinder is one of the cards that can help us turn it into a 4/5 creature that has no abilities, but any type of removal spell will just blow us out. And I'm really kicking myself here for not destroying or using the opportunity earlier in the game to kill the Restless Vents, because it is carrying them so hard right now. And then we can take 8 here, go down to 1, and then use Dishana's Tidebinder on the Shouldered just to survive. But I figured to myself, what if the face down card was something that they can face up, like maybe another Shouldered, so it's kind of not really good. Then it turns out it was just a Disturbing Mirth. And the interesting thing here is we didn't really see them utilize the Demonic Pact game plan here. They, I think, correctly recognized that if they just played a bit more safe, go with the more controlling route here, and rely on Shouldered as well as the Restless Vents to get them out of range, then there's nothing much that we can really do in terms of getting them. I mean, they don't know what our list is, so I think them playing a bit more patient here was still the correct play. Regardless, they weren't trying to lose the advantage that they've been able to creep up. And yep, after that Torture the Tower, like I said, any removal spell really just seals the deal there. And here's when I start thinking to myself, okay, I need to diversify my threats. One, I shouldn't have taken out the Curiosity to begin with. I think the fact that the Curiosity can survive Pyroclasms is pretty good. They need to have a Torch the Tower or a Brotherhood's End to deal with it. We're not going to be utilizing Change the Equation. Even though we didn't really draw it that last game, a lot of the really problematic cards are their black cards anyway. So I don't think Change the Equation was the right call there. So we're bringing in Jace the Perfected Mind, and my game plan now is that we're on the play. We're going to try and utilize a wide range of threats, from Planeswalkers to our Merfolk to our Schooners and to our top end cards like Enduring Curiosity and Vivian Reed, to try and combat their board wipe heavy combo deck. And then you see me actually taking out the Flood Pit's Drowner there. Maybe it's blasphemy, it can help, keep a Shouldered tapped down or a Restless Vents from really going in. But like I said, I was just trying to diversify my threats there, and one of the Merfolks had to go. Okay, game 3 here, and I think this is a keep. We've got Deep-Root Pilgrimage both combo going on, and we've got Hexcatcher and Tidebinder as Merfolks to enable it. We're gonna discard our redundant copy of the boat here, and then we just want to start getting lands online, so I'm playing in the boat here and trying to invest in the future so that we can get lands for our Planeswalkers. They discard a removal spell here. We drew an unfortunate Pick Your Poison here. And that's when I started telling myself, like, oh, they have so many enchantments. I don't think Pick Your Poison is great here. I shouldn't have boarded it in. We used the Explore trigger. We're looking for more lands. We saw another Jace, so we're going to bin that. Okay, and they play Dreams of Steel and Oil. The only card that they can pick from our hand here is the Tidebinder, so we're going to lose that. And they find the removal spell for our Hexcatcher here, so we are really relying on lands at the top of our deck here. We didn't draw one, but thankfully we drew a Merfolk that can crew the boat so that we can possibly find one. And finally, we draw a Yavimaya Coast here. I thought about using the Pick Your Poison, but it's not worth it. I'd rather have it as discard fodder. Then here, they Pyroclasm to get rid of our Hexcatcher. And we're just gonna slam the Jace down. And we're gonna use it to draw a card. Looking at their graveyard so far, now they've got 7 cards in the graveyard. So something to keep in mind. If they have 20 cards in the graveyard, Jace does draw 3 cards. And they're digging. So what we're looking for here is more lands so that we can deploy our Curiosity and crew the boat and attack and draw. A Hexcatcher was not land, but like I said, it was still kind of good here because we can use it to crew the boat and find more lands. So after getting flooded last game, we are kind of getting screwed this game. We're going to plus Jace here. We're going to be doing that regardless. We're going to use the Hexcatcher here. I'm going to keep up a Yavimaya Coast just in case. We draw an untapped land here and can play the second boat. And we did draw the untapped land here, and I realized, oh, okay. Let's play the Pilgrimage here instead of the second boat, because they can Brotherhood's End to not only destroy our creatures and planeswalkers, but they also have another mode that can destroy all of our artifacts. So it's all about attacking this control deck through multiple fronts here. Here comes another Hopeless Nightmare, and thankfully we kept the Pick Your Poison as discard fodder. Now we can finally deploy one of our 4-drops here, and drawing Oko here was just great. So we're going to plus Jace. We're going to be doing that regardless. We're going to be playing Oko here to create an elf, and given that they are at 11, it's just all about pressuring their life total. We are at 7. Every time we use a blue source in this board state, we do take a damage. Another Oko is revealed here. We don't need it though. Okay, and here comes a Go for the Throat. And what you'll see me do here is I'm actually going to sacrifice the token Merfolk here to have them pay 1, because I was really afraid of them playing an untapped land and then casting Brotherhood's End and then destroying all of our creatures and our planeswalkers. So at the cost of losing a Merfolk that didn't really need to go, we are taking a gamble and hopefully making it so that our planeswalkers survive. Restless Vinestalk is a great draw here. We can deploy it so it can start attacking the following turn. We're going to be using Jace here to draw a card and trying to see what we draw here. And then with Oko, we can either create an elf or we can draw 2 cards and only discard 1 because we've committed a crime with the Jace. I decided to go with the elk here. They are at a low enough life total. We're gonna play Enduring Curiosity here. We're gonna accrue the boat using the elf, and then we're gonna use Oko to copy the Enduring Curiosity here. And they are shields down, so we're attacking for 10 damage here. And had we kept that one Merfolk, we could have had lethal here. So it was a gamble. And we have a fistful of cards here. We are going to discard the Botanical Sanctum and one of the Soulstone Sanctuaries here. Just so that we make sure that we can swing in with the Restless Vine Stalk next turn. Even if they wipe the board here. Lo and behold, they had to besiege the mirror. And this is going to get a Brotherhood's End, destroying all our creatures, all our planeswalkers. But thankfully, because we've diversified our threats, we've got a manland and we got a schooner to finish them off. We're going to do it in style and use the Restless Vine Stalk. Great games from our opponent here. Really absolutely love playing this round and playing against such a oppressive control deck that has 8 copies of a sweeper main deck and surviving it. Man, that's a good game. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Okay, round 4 here. We are 3-0, but man, haven't ran into a mono red or aggro deck yet after all the changes and playtesting we've done. Okay, let's see. I don't think this is a keep. This is just too slow, especially if they are playing an aggressive deck. So we'll mulligan this. Okay, this is much better. We'll keep this. I'm thinking we want the boat, we want the Hex Catcher, and we want the Tidebinder. So I'll put the Flood Pits Drowner first. Unfortunate that we have a very painful mana base this hand. Okay, blue-white. So I'm going to take this time to develop with the schooner here. This could be a bunch of things. This could be the blue-white tempo deck. Okay. If it's the blue-white tempo deck, this is most likely going to be a Moment of Truth. Or a Get Lost. Well, I think we go with the Hex Catcher here. Yeah. Let's get an Explore trigger. If this is a unsummon, this is totally okay with me. Yeah, even if it was like a Get Lost, I wouldn't mind it either. Oh, okay. So we are looking at the blue-white tempo deck here. And we'll play Restless Vine Stalk tapped here. And we can keep up Tishana's Tidebinder or play out the schooner. I think we'll play out the schooner here. Here comes an Opt. They got 2 cards in the graveyard. Here's a Picklock Prankster. Now they got 6 cards in the graveyard. They can cast an Oculus if they have 3 mana. Attacking for 3 here. And here's your chart, of course. Okay. Let's go with the schooner first, I think. I don't think we want to use the scout. Actually, I think the scout's actually good here. Nice. Something to help with making our merfolk uncounterable. Here comes a get lost, but we're gonna use our scout on that. And then we're passing here, keeping up Sanctuary and Tidebinder. Ooh, a recommission here. Okay, this is going to be very difficult for us. Okay, so we'll use this. And then we can Tidebinder this. But we still lose to the Haughty Djinn. Unless we draw a Flood Pits Drowner. Okay. Oh, we didn't draw a Flood Pits Drowner, so we kind of just lose to this Haughty Djinn right here. Alright, alright. I think we're gonna go to game 2 here. And against them, we are gonna bring in Vivian Reeds. Pick your poison. And Tranquil Frillback. Ghost Vacuum as well. The unsummons are not that good against them. Lodestone Needle can really deal with their Djinn plays, so I kind of like that. I think going the Deeproot Pilgrimage route is not usually the best because they got stuff like Get Lost to deal with it anyway. And then maybe we take out something like Enduring Curiosity or Oko. I think Oko is not that good in this particular matchup because the flyers that they have kind of just go over a lot of the elks that we make. So I'm tempted to just get rid of Oko here. And let's try this. Our game plan is to deal with their enchantments and flyers and their graveyard with Frillback and Ghost Vacuum. And then hopefully Merfolk them out as well. Okay, let's run this. Alright, we'll be on the play here. And this is a keep. We got some things to deal with their flyer, but we also have a scout, turn 1. Here comes a Pick Your Poison. We will keep that, just as a redundancy here. Play a Forest. We'll attack here. And then play a Schooner. And then now we're just looking for lands. Here comes a Chart, of course, so shields are down for them. Ooh, that is not a land. Let's hope we find one here. Yes, we do. Thank goodness. We'll put this on Merfolk. And end the turn here. So they can reanimate their Abhorrent Oculus here. And we can counter the trigger on our upkeep with Tidebinder. Or we can just kill Okay, I think we're gonna use Tidebinder in our upkeep here. Not the most mana efficient play, but I think this is still worth it. Was hoping to draw an untapped land there, but it is what it is. Okay, here comes a Get Lost. We're going to be taking 6 here. And I'm actually just going to let this one go. We're going to use Pick Your Poison here. Okay, Pick Your Poison. Sacrifice a creature with flying. Here comes a negate. That is no problem. And then use this. And get an Explore trigger. Okay, and then we can use a couple more Explore triggers here, or just play the Schooner. I think we'll go with the Schooner here. Would love a land, so we can play Vivian Reed. Looks like they got another Abhorrent Oculus here. Okay. Do we use Tishana's Tidebinder on this? Or do we gamble for a Vivian Reed? I don't think we're gonna gamble. Here comes a Lodestone Needle. We can get some Explore triggers here. Put this on the Scout. Restless Vinestalk, and then pass. So at least we now have the mana for Vivian Reed. They are most likely going to try and look for a removal spell here to deal with the Tishana's Tidebinder and the Oculus can get through. Okay. So let's try this. And then we'll double block. Here comes a Chart, of course. They can follow this up with a Djinn, maybe. Helping Hand. Okay. Would love a Frill back here. Okay, so they are playing Temporary Lockdown in their deck, so we should be mindful of that. One thing we can do here is just Tidebinder this. And then let's see, if they don't have mana for negate, so I don't think we're gonna Tidebinder this. We're gonna use this as a opportunity to resolve Vivian Reed here.
Almost feral about this city. I like it. We're the predators.
Okay. And I don't think we do anything here. I think we just pass. We'll see if we can try and protect our Vivian Reed here. If these are any of the flyers, Vivian Reed's gonna die anyway. But it looks like they're digging. And the next turn we have better options with Lodestone Needle and the Tidebinder. Here comes a helping hand. Okay, we get to Tidebinder the Abhorrent Oculus here. And Flood Pit's Drowner is great there. Let's +1. Let's get this untapped land. And you know what? I think we need to try and go for pressure here. Yeah. Let's go for pressure. They are at 12, and we are attacking for 9. Yep, let's get rid of their flyer here. Okay, I think this is a Drowner. Get your Oculus. And I will block. Here's a Drowner. Let's plus this first. Getting a Hex Catcher. And then I think we just Restless Vinestalk, right? Do they have any... if they have a removal spell here, that's kind of tricky. So I think we'll just Hex Catcher here. Oh, it looks like they don't have a removal spell. Maybe just miss lethal there. But we are playing it safe. Okay. Ended up getting there. We did miss lethal. We played it safe there, though. Let's see. So, against this iteration, we didn't really draw our Graveyard Hate. So, they were able to just recur so many Oculi back into the battlefield here. So, hoping this time around, we either get Frill back or Vacuum. We're not going to make any changes. Okay, we'll keep this. We got something to do with the flyer. We'll start off with a Forest into the Scout. Just hoping for more action here, and Vivian Reed's action. Alright, we'll play Island, attack for 2, keeping up our 2 drops here. It's funny because we tuned this deck to deal with mono red, but we are holding our own against these mid-range decks. Oh, Curiosity is great there. Okay, it looks like they have another either removal spell or another Moment of Truth. Picklock Prankster, no problem. Looking for Charticars. Looks like they're digging for stuff. Okay, here comes a helping hand. Let's see if we can get rid of... They likely have a negate, huh? But if they use the negate here, that means that's one less negate for Vivian Reed. Okay. Land here, I'll attack. And then we'll play the cat. So I do think they have a negate here. That's my feeling, at least. Okay, here comes a helping hand. If they have negate here, I think I'm not gonna play Vivian Reed, and I'm just gonna go for the Vivian, the Drowner, and Hexcatcher play. Okay. Land here. We're going to attack. And if they block the scout, we'll go Hexcatcher here. And then now, if we Paw Patch formation here, we have a Hexcatcher to deal with this negate here. We sussed it out perfectly. Wonderful. Okay. Sack the scout. Get your negate out. And kill your Jhin. We got a Restless Vinestalk coming in the works as well. If they play something that we can just tap down, we'll go for that. Moment of truth, no problem. This means our Vivian Reed resolves here. We will attack first, draw 2 cards. And a Ghost Vacuum. Wow. Okay. Well, we're gonna keep all of our stuff here by playing Vivian Reed and Ghost Vacuum. Well, plus, we'll get Restless Vinestalk, Ghost Vacuum. And now we just got so much covered. We got Lethal on the board. We got a Vivian Reed. Yeah. Temporary Lockdown. I think we will use this first. Get any Oculi that are in here. And then this resolves. Vivian Reed kills the temporary lockdown. We just have such a good game against Blue-White Tempo. I've played against this deck so many times.
Oh, I've made lots of friends in this town.
Yeah, this is gonna be game here. We got Vinestalk, Ghost Vacuum, Tishana's Binder, Tidebinder, Floodfist Drowner. Oof. Alright, well, as strange as it is, we didn't run into any mono red. But we are doing really well against the field here. Alright. Time for one more? Yeah, let's do one more. Let's see if we can get to Plat 2. Okay, last round here. Let's hope it's an aggressive deck. I do want to test against it. This is a keepable hand. Looking for second blue source for our curiosity here. These are awesome sleeves. Very cool. Oh no! Okay. Well, let's just run it back. Looks like Shuffler messed with our opponent there. Alright. This looks like a keep still. Okay. Did they keep? Okay, they kept. Well, it's not an aggressive deck. Forest into Scout. So blue-white could be the tempo deck again here. I can do another Scout here, or I can develop with the Schooner. We'll go with another Scout. We'll put back that Schooner to the graveyard. Attack for 1 here. And then we'll just play a tap land. Ooh! This could be a soldier deck. Okay, okay. Very cool, very cool. We'll play Cavern of Souls here. On Merfolk. Let's get in. They could have the flash creature here. In that case, I kind of just want to play the Schooner here. We are still at a high life total. Okay, they had a counter spell there. Very cool to see a soldier's deck here. I haven't played against it, but I have seen some lists. Ah, I see you. Well, hopefully we draw a second blue source here. Maybe I should have named this on Cat. Well, we'll do this. Well, we want a cat, so maybe we Drowner their Sentinel, Lodestone Needle their Curiosity, make it so that they can't block here. Okay, this is gonna be a weird play, I think. And then while they're tapped out, let's Lodestone Needle their Zephyr Sentinel. I guess technically I should have put the Lodestone here and the Curiosity, so it still has a counter. But I was thinking that I wanted to tap down their flyer because I can't block it down the road. Yep, I'll trade here. Okay, no blue source here. But we get to do this. We get to attack. And then flash in the Hexcatcher if they have a flasher here. Do I do this anyway? I think I do. We do have Cavern of Souls, so they can't counter this. Okay, and then we have Restless Vinestalk next turn. That on Cat. I'm not gonna block here. You can draw 3 cards. We do have lethal on the swing back, so maybe they run something like Aetherize and we just get blown out? Okay. Restless Vine stock here. Let's take a gamble. This means that we lose out on... See, if we sack this and sack this... Yeah, unfortunately. We just lose here. Couldn't have used the Explore token there. Attack like this, leave a blocker. Yeah. Okay, let's go to game 2. So we took a gamble there. So against them, they got counter spells. Pretty low curve, so change the equation might still be good here. Paw Patch formation. I don't know if they got a lot of flyers. How many flyers does the soldier deck have? Okay, let's go down 2 of those to bring in Jace, the Perfected Mind here. And Unsummon doesn't seem very good against them, so let's change the equation. And maybe 2 Vivian Reeds. We still got 1 to cut. Let's see. Enduring Curiosity is great there. We don't have a way to exile enchantments, so dealing with their Curiosity is going to require multiple stuff. Unless we use something like an Unsummon. We can just also keep their stuff tapped down with Lodestone Needle, but I think maybe at least hedging our bets and bringing in Paw Patch formation is better. Yeah, let's try this out. So we are 1-1 because they quickly conceded the first game. So we're in a good position here. We are in the play. This is an interesting hand. We do get Jace. So I will keep it. We have Jace and the Boat Pilgrimage combo here. Looks like our opponent's thinking right here, so I'll just cut to when they're back. Okay, we're back, but I don't think our opponent is back. They kind of just let their timer run out. Man, I really wanted to play it out. Yeah, it looks like they're not back yet. Maybe I could have waited a bit more to see if they would come back. You know, disconnects do happen in Arena. But man, that would be such a bummer. Oh no. Bummer. It looks like our opponent did indeed disconnect or went AFK. But hey, look, we are Platinum 2. Woohoo! Alright, very strange run there. Ended up going 5-0. Weird last game here, but I don't like to cut all the games. I do want everyone to see how I'm ranking up to our mythic aspirations here. But, oh well. I'll see you in the outro. And there you have it, guys. 5-0 run. That was a lot of fun. Unfortunate that we didn't get much of a game that last round there, but I don't really want to cut out games on our climb to the mythic rank here, so it is what it is. That's Magic, you know. And I have to say, after spending so many hours playtesting with my friend and the various red decks, it is so funny that we booted up, went to the rank ladder, and ran into zero um, aggressive red decks, at least in these first 5 games. So we'll continue the journey, and I still have faith in a lot of the card selections that we did. Um, I really think Lodestone Needle is very strong, at least game one, against a lot of these red decks or aggressive decks in general. And then Jace, I think, is some cool secret tech that I'm excited to get more reps in the playtesting that I've done. It really shined. It saves so much life. Having it, even if we pay 2 life to put in the board early. And in terms of our revenge against the red deck, it will have to wait. I'm gonna be patient. We'll run it back another day. I do have a couple of days off here, so it's gonna be a lot of fun, just jamming some games in. And before I say my outro, I also wanted to actually encourage you guys to check out the Moxfield link that I have in the description of this video. It is of our Simic Merfolk midrange deck. And as you can see here, we're on version 6, and this is the list that I played today. I am continuously updating this to reflect whatever I'm playing. And I'm also going to be working sometime this week on the primer for it. It's kind of a shell of a primer here currently. I haven't really updated it to version 6 yet, but it will be there. And my plan is to come up with a comprehensive deep dive guide on how to use the Simic Merfolk midrange deck as well as the tempo variants. We're gonna go for tactical gameplay, strategic options, and then matchup knowledge. We put in so much rep into this deck right here. It would be a shame if I didn't compile all of that and share it with the world. So I'm really excited to do that. As always, we are also getting back into the RCQ scene. It's been a couple of years for me, so I'm really excited. And what I'm actually going to do here is, I know it's 2 weeks away, I'm going to make it so that I'm going to game the system a little bit. I'm going to bring 2 deck lists to whatever RCQ I'm going to go. I'm going to have one deck list that has a better game 1 against aggressive decks, and then another deck list that has a better game 1 against the mid-range deck. So still the same 75 cards, just different configuration of how I'll do the game 1 deck here. So we'll see. I'm gonna have to figure out a way and brainstorm some ideas on how to do a tournament report here on YouTube that's entertaining and still watchable. So stay tuned for that. Well, I'll keep you guys updated. And just really quick, we are going to be checking out some new formats soon. Pioneer Masters is coming out. I can't wait. I got a brew there, and then Timeless Metagame Challenge. This is kind of intimidating. I don't really know a lot about Timeless. It looks like Legacy, and I love Legacy. I used to be quite the Legacy grinder back in the day. And so I got a brew going for that too. I don't know if it's good. Everyone's telling me you don't brew for Timeless. You just don't. You just pick the best deck and you learn that first. But I kind of have faith in what we're brewing up. So we'll see if we cooked up something good or cooked up something terrible. We'll see. Either way, I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you're having a lot of fun too. Thank you sincerely and truly from the bottom of my heart for joining us for this journey here. This YouTube project has been a lot of fun, and I just wanted to say the fact that you're here this early into my journey is such an honor. So give us a like, give us a comment, and if you feel so inclined, a subscription would be heavenly. Thank you so much, guys. Either way, no matter what, as always, have a great day.